Okay. So this video is going to be about the emotional damage that the tibia plateau fracture actually has on you, the toll that it takes. Because before I found the Facebook pages that I'm on, which I will link again in the description below, and I really recommend that if you are going through this or have gone through this, that you join those groups. But something I found really hard is that, you know, if you watch some videos, people will touch on, you know, it was really hard emotionally kind of thing, but I actually want to just be real and blunt for a hot probably 45 minutes, because it's really important, because you don't, I would say, expect the kind of emotional toll that it will take. You know, going through this, I kind of wish that I had known the emotional toll that it was going to have on me. But at the same time, I don't think anything can actually prepare you for what you will go through emotionally. I remember, so I'm currently 2 weeks post-op, had my staples removed today, and you know, I have my 6-week post-op check in a month and stuff. So, you know, I'm not in rehab yet. So I haven't really started recovering. If you haven't seen my other video, I did not get surgery until 9 weeks because it was missed for 6 weeks. So I haven't actually walked in 72 days. My thigh is the size of my arm, and anyway, but you know, I just don't think that you could ever be prepared for the emotional toll that it does take. And so I kind of want to make a video just to let people know that are going through this or have gone through this, that your feelings are so valid. Like, they are so justified. The highs that you're going to have will be like here. Okay, this is a normal day probably. The highs that you're going to have for the first part are here. And the lows are like right down there. And it's because, you know, it's not just an injury. Your independence is taken away from you because you can't do anything for yourself. You know, for the first wee while, you probably won't be able to dress yourself, shower yourself. You know, there are a lot of things that actually come with it that if you haven't been through it, you don't understand. And if you haven't been through it, you don't get a say. And I think that's also really important because, you know, going through this injury, from my own personal experience, if you haven't gone through it, you can support me. You can say, you know, I'm here for you. I hope you're okay. But don't compare me to anybody else or any other surgery. I don't care if someone's had a knee reconstruction. I don't care if someone broke their femur. I don't care if, do you know what I mean? Because it is not the same thing. And don't let people rush you. Because the thing is that, you know, obviously I don't know yet because I'm not in rehab for, you know, I'm not too sure yet. But I know my body and I refuse to push myself to exceed other people's expectations, because at the end of the day, I will pay for it physically. If I try to do what other people expect of me, you know, you're 6 weeks post-op, shouldn't you be back up and walking? That is not how this injury works. It isn't. You know, do I know how long I'm going to be in physio for? Absolutely not. I need to learn how to walk again. You know, it's not just that I broke a bone, okay? And if you're going through this, you did not just break a bone. You broke the worst thing you could have broken in your leg. You know, you did the worst thing to your leg that you could have done. And I've had orthopedic people say that. So it's not just like, oh my God, this hurts so bad. Like, this is the worst thing I could have done. No, this actually is one of the worst things you could do to your leg. So don't let other people make you feel like you're being dramatic, or, you know, I kind of touched on that a little bit in my video yesterday, but I just think that is so important. It actually makes me mad a little bit. I try not to swear because, you know, obviously family will probably eventually see this, but like, because, you know, if you haven't gone through it, tell me you hope I'm okay and move along. Don't, you know, because that's just not it. You know, there are people that, you know, it is a long process. It is hard. It is hard physically, but honestly, the emotional side of things sometimes can feel so much worse, because if you're in pain because of your leg, because of your injury, or after surgery, what do? You take a pain pill. Do you know what I mean? If it's the emotional side of things, that is a hell of a lot harder to control than taking a Panadol or whatever you're on. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just so important, because going into this, I had no idea. I had no idea that, and I'm talking like, you know, I've dealt with depression before. I've dealt with, you know, having my lows before, and nothing like this ever. And, you know, I don't want to say it to scare people. You know, if you've just done this, I'm not saying it to scare you, but I wish I had have had some sort of expectation of how much it was going to fuck me up emotionally. Sorry, Grandma, if you're watching that. Because, you know, you're not prepared ever. I mean, in all fairness, I could have watched 22 videos saying exactly what I've just said, and I still would not have been prepared to deal with the lows. The reason that I recommend these Facebook groups so highly is because I was going through some bad times. Like, the pain in itself was excruciating. I didn't even want to be awake half the time to deal with it when I could sleep. And, you know, just the emotional side of it, I just didn't want to deal with it. And I felt like, you know what, honestly, it'd be easier if I just went out the back. Do you know what I mean? Like that. And looking back at it now, I'm like, you know what, that actually made me stronger, because these were low points that I didn't think I'd ever be strong enough to get through. And look at me now. Do you know what I mean? And just being in these groups on Facebook has changed my life so drastically, and my injury, because, you know, when I was finding so hard to find information and find people's stories and, you know, really find people's experiences, because, you know, I'd look up knee surgeries, I'd look up, you know, celebrities that have had injuries and they've walked again and stuff, and it was all the ACL and all the, you know, other stuff that is in your leg. And I found it really hard to specifically find any information about the Tibia Plateau Fracture. In all fairness, I wasn't doing very good research until I actually realized. But, you know, and that made me feel lost, and it made me feel so severely alone. And I think that's what added to me getting so depressed all the time, because I had all these amazing people around me, and I still felt like, you don't understand. You don't, you know, because people don't. They're going to sit there and they're going to sympathize for you. They're going to sit there and they're going to try their hardest to imagine what you're going through. But unless you've gone through it, you're never going to know. You really won't. You will not understand the level of pain that it takes. You know, some people will make comments like, do you have a low pain threshold or something? Or, you know, but, you know, it's not that bad. Or, you know, yeah, but, you know, you could have broken the whole bone, blah, blah, blah. But no, like, so I just think it's really important that you prepare yourself and you join these groups, because if if I'm telling you right now, if I had have known about these groups when I first did this accident, the whole start of that journey would have been severely different, because I would have already had all this information. I would have known what was going on with my body. I would have, you know, not felt so alone. I would have had, you know, experienced people that knew, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But now I'm kind of like, you know, I did find that group at the right time for me. And when I was meant to find it, I found it. So I'm grateful for that, because I found it just after my surgery, a couple of days after my surgery, which was by far the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I felt like it was important that I found that group then, because that really got me through, because those lows were bad. You know, over the past 9 weeks, I had had so many lows, but nothing compared to the lows I had after surgery. I think something important as well to take away from this is that this is a life-changing injury. It's not a life-ending one. And that was really important for me as well. Not only that, but just to see people get back up on their feet, living life, their, you know, their flexion in their leg is back to normal. It's, you know, they're surfing, they're skating, they're doing everything they did before, you know, and so I just think it's really important. And honestly, half this video probably won't make sense, but I don't care, because I think it's just, you know, I just want to sit here and be real. I don't have a script. Turn the page. I don't have a script, you know. I'm just talking from experience that this will be the hardest thing to go through. It will be physically and emotionally. But trust me, once you get to that point where you're at peace with your injury, you're at peace with, you know, oh, it might take me a year to walk. It might, you know, take longer. It might take less. When you come to terms with it and you come to peace with it, everything else seems so much more amazing in a sense, you know. Like, I just have so much more of an appreciation for life and everything that I've gone through, and it has made me a hell of a lot stronger physically and mentally. Not in my left leg, but my right leg and my biceps are getting a bit, you know, watch out the rock. But yeah, so I just wanted to make this video, because if you are going through this, everything's going to be okay. It's overwhelming, it's horrible, it's scary. That's also something. It is absolutely freaking terrifying. It is very scary, but you know, you will get through it, and you absolutely can, and you absolutely will, and recovery will be long, but you know, at the end of the day, you know that whether you've been in physio for 6 months, whether you've been in physio for a year, whether you've been in physio for 2 years, when you graduate from physio, right, when they release you because they trust in you and your body, how rewarding is that gonna be, you know? And the things we take for granted every single day, like I'm just gonna walk to the shops, or I'm gonna go for a drive, or all these things, you know, and now when you get to do those things again, they are going to mean so much more to you than anything. And that is so important. Don't listen to other people. Don't let other people's opinions affect you, because I can guarantee that if those people were going through this, they would have given up, you know. And just to quickly circle back and cut myself off, your mental well-being is going to be an extremely big part to play in this. Because if your brain is not happy, your body's not going to function properly. So you have to try your hardest, and that's why I just keep recommending these Facebook groups, because as soon as I joined that group, I'm telling you, my mindset switched instantly. I have not had one depressing thought. I mean, last night I got a little bit annoyed because I couldn't sleep, I was a little bit uncomfortable. I'm not a back sleeper. Anyway, you know, but 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, you know, it gets better. You know, if this has just happened to you, or you've just had surgery, or, you know, and you're going through this currently, you're going to feel like, how the hell is this going to get better? But it does. Because I was there. I was there for a long time. I was stuck in that mindset for a long time. And I'm telling you, as soon as I switched up my mindset, everything just feels easier. It feels better. And I'm like, you know what? Like, yeah, I can't walk right now. I can't really bend my leg yet, but I'm making progress because I've, you know, progress. I'm making progress because I'm not on 2 pillows anymore. I'm only elevated on 1. And I have to be elevated because my extension's at 20 degrees, so I can't straighten my leg. You know, but that's, you know, when I first got surgery, my leg was blown up like a balloon, and, you know, the straps, and now they're right around back to the back of my leg because the swelling has gone down so much. So sometimes you have to be grateful and you have to acknowledge the little things. I changed my own t-shirt today. Yeah, you did. You know, I wiped my own ass today. Yeah, you did. Do you know what I mean? Little things. Don't go hard on yourself, because this is a very long process. It's a very hard process, and I'm going to say this right now: if I can get through it, you can. 100%. Hands down. Not even a question. You can get through this. And don't let anyone else make you feel like you're weak or dramatic, or, you know, because literally, just like, don't listen to them, okay? Because first of all, I never even knew this was a freaking injury, and now I see all these people on these Facebook pages. I'm like, y'all are literally the strongest people I know, because I know what you're going through, and this is the hardest thing I've ever had to endure in my 26 years of life, and holy shit, you are so strong. Okay, so I'm going to cap it before it gets to 20. I'm feeling a bit spicy, cutting them down a little bit. And I'm going to make another video about staple removal, because I feel like I am going to do that. I don't know what I was going to say, but I'm going to make a video. Anyway, so yeah, distract yourself too. I've been learning how to play guitar. I've been, you know, playing music out loud. I've been, you know, even documenting little things like this, because it helps me get my mind off of things. It helps me get my mind off of my leg. And also another thing before I go, it's going to go over 20, isn't it? Is that the pain lady that I saw. Also, if you haven't seen my other video, go watch it, because there's other information in there that you probably need to know. But she said to me, the more that you are in bed, like just lying down in bed, the more you're going to focus on your leg, which is absolutely accurate. I'm obviously sitting right now. I'm doing this. It can be quite uncomfortable and tiring. Also, that's another thing. You're going to be freaking exhausted all the time. You might have to nap for 5 hours after going to the toilet. Haven't been through it, you don't understand. Shut up. Yeah, so, you know, just switching it up. I open my blinds, I look out the window's open, I'm getting fresh air. You know, I sometimes, when I am feeling very spicy, I might move into the middle of the bed. So, anyway, yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to make a video about staple removal. If you want to watch that, go over and watch it. If you haven't watched my other one, go over and watch it. And yeah, I really hope that this is helping at least one person, because that's all I want to do. Okay.